whisper stories told. Let your journey now begin. In the magic, let's dive in. So tell me, what do the cards reveal? What's the truth they conceal? She's the high priestess with the key to every question that's haunting me. A lover's heart or a warning from the past. In the Terran's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos I find my place. In the tarot's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos I find my place. The moonlight glows, the veil is thin. Lunar affinity will call again. Thanks for walking in the light, where guides whisper pure insight. Until we meet, the cards will wait. Mystic whispers guide your fate. With every message our spirits send, for cosmic dreams our souls transcend.
Hey everyone, welcome in. If you have any yes/no questions you'd like answered, it's free tonight for the next, 5-10 minutes or so. Just make sure you drop your question in the chat. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we have Nessa. Nessa, I have a yes. The Knight of Pentacles. Nat. Nat, I have a yes. Two of Cups. That's a great card. Amy. Amy, yes. Ace of Swords and Page of Cups. Maybe he's trying to communicate with you. I don't know. Send you a message. Margaret. So, Margaret, just a heads up on my disclaimers. I don't answer questions in regards to like legal, financial, health-related issues, things like that. So just brush up on my disclaimer on the types of questions that I will do readings on, but I will just let you know what card I pull and what that means. Margaret, I have a no. It's the Eight of Swords. If you want further elaboration, just look up what the Eight of Swords means. Alright. Yes, and it's the Empress, which is the card of fertility. Smiley, I have a no. Seven of Swords. James. I'm getting a no. I have the Five of Pentacles. We also have the Page of Wands, so that's like marching to the beat of your own drum, doing your own thing. Ari, I answer pregnancy questions, so you don't have to worry about that. You're welcome, Ari. Jay, no. Yes, I have the Seven of Wands. This might make it so that she felt like hanging out with you was an escape, and it helped her take her mind off of things and just enjoy the moment with you. Shayna. Shayna, I have a yes for you. Page of Wands. Sophie. I have a yes, Sophie, the Hierophant, and the Seven of Pentacles. Dorella, I have a no, Five of Cups. Space Cowboy, yes. It's a good match. Four of Wands, Seven of Wands. Hey Terry, welcome in. Culture. I have a yes, Six of Wands for culture. Nannies, I have a maybe, Two of Pentacles, undecided. Seven of Cups, undecided. Eight of Swords, mental restriction. I'm gonna say no right now, but the Ten of Pentacles is here, so it makes me feel like that could be an option down the line. That's just not where your person is at right now, okay? Harry, yes. The Empress. Sophie, I'm glad to hear you got your money back. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. You're welcome, nannies. Space Cowboy. You have clinical depression, so having someone close to you can make you laugh. Aw. Yeah, I understand. Sava, I have a yes. Page of Cups. Shavina, I have a no. 3 of Swords. Phew! Oh my gosh, sorry. Ocean Summer. No, I don't think so. Not in March. It's you're getting there. You're getting closer. So maybe April, but it looks like March, maybe not. There also may be a job that is they want you to know that your hard work is paying off, but there might be a job that requires travel. So I don't know if the job itself is about traveling or if you have a commute or if they are going to ask you to relocate. But I don't know why. I'm just getting that message, so I'm just letting you know. Sienna. Sienna, no. I have you with roommates in 2026. If you don't like the outcome of this reading, then maybe make action steps to try to find a different way to make that happen for yourself. I have the 3 of Pentacles. So this talks about collaborating in a space with more than you just yourself. So maybe, I mean, the only thing I can think of that is still would make this possible is if you got your own place and it was under your name, but you needed to help share costs and you got a roommate or something. But yeah, it feels like you're still living with people in 2026, I think. You're welcome, everyone. Oh, thanks, Jano. We did get some donations coming in, so bear with me. I'll get that list posted here in just a minute. Free list is now closed. We're going to wrap up this last reading with Daisha. If I skipped you, let me know. Daisha, yes, Ace of Swords. All right, give me a second while I work on the donation list real quick. You're welcome, everyone. All right, so Shayna J is first on my list. Shayna, if you want to post your question now, and I'll get started as soon as you do. Pisces, I just saw that you donated. I'll add you to the list in just a moment. Okay, so the message that's coming through is that you allowed for him to kind of maybe take a break or rest his mind from his typical responsibilities. Spending time with you kind of served as like a very welcoming retreat or distraction or escape. He's showing up as the emperor, so he's kind of saying that I typically like have a lot on my plate, or maybe he has a lot of responsibility. And he's saying that for a little while, I could quote unquote let my hair down. He says that it felt really good to be able to just kind of get back into his body and be present and kind of maybe have some fun or shake things up. Because the Page of Wands, like someone who marches to the beat of their own drum, does their own thing, doesn't really care what anyone says. So he probably felt like with you, he showed up a lot more authentically. And I think that you kind of help him get out of maybe a more serious mindset that he typically can have or he typically can carry, and just be more free and more like, I don't know, just exciting. Like you felt like a vacation in human form, basically. You were a great way to kind of pull him out of his typical element, or maybe he's normally stressed or feels heavy burdens or feels a lot of responsibility, and you were able to just help him let loose and spend a great amount of time together, just doing things that are fun, that don't require so much seriousness. Like maybe things were more playful or more silly or more fun, maybe a lot more laughing, and just like a really good way to kind of pull him out of a time that maybe he really needed that. Let's see. I feel like he's saying like I got to really know her a lot better as well. We have temperance here, and a lot of times this talks about like feeling the need to hold back or take things slow, not really wanting to rush into anything. Um, just kind of take your time with it. But temperance is just, that's the message of the card. It doesn't necessarily mean that you guys held back or that you didn't explore each other in other ways. It just means that maybe he felt like he wanted to just make sure he really took his time, really enjoyed himself, really paid attention to the moment. And the Page of Swords indicates that he's looking at you with feeling like maybe a deeper bond or a closer connection, because the Page of Swords is like, I learned a lot about her and I was able to I guess just get some information about you that maybe he didn't know about before. And so that can build stronger bonds because he feels more knowledgeable about you. Let's see. He feels there were times during your visit that he felt very in sync with you. Like you guys, it felt kind of powerful, or there's a lot of chemistry, or maybe even intensity in your connection. But he's saying like, I really felt this magic. I felt like something very strongly between us, and I felt the power within what's going on here. We have the Knight of Cups and the Magician. Feels very romantically, and as I say romantic, 10 of Cups, feels very romantically inclined and just really enjoying one-on-one time together. It almost looks like you guys, like, it's like sitting on a bench on a front porch or something, like sitting there together, just maybe stargazing, people watching, looking out at the scenic view. Like that can be symbolic, but basically just felt like it was you were the only two in the moment. And I think he's walking out of this feeling closer to you. He's feeling excited, I guess, to see what's to come. Does that answer your question, Shayna? It resonates so much. Glad to know the feelings are mutual. You described it so perfectly. Oh, yay. Okay, perfect. Glad to hear it resonated for you. You're very welcome. Have a great night, Shayna. All right, Terry. All right, so do you want the love spread? Terry, is that what you're looking to have, the love spread? Oh, I didn't realize that banner was still scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Whoops. Terry, are you in here? Oh, hey girl. So I saw that you said you wanted the love reading. Um, did you want the love spread, the mini love spread? Is that what you're asking me to do? Perfect. All right, let's do that real quick. Okay. So, Terry, Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken, I got the Empress for you when he asked if you could trust him. Your friend from a long time ago came out of nowhere. You feel you heard your call. Oh, that's so sweet. He's viewing you right now is like, how do I put this? Physically, symbolically, spiritually powerful, but maybe emotionally fragile right now. Maybe there's some sensitivity where your emotions are concerned. He doesn't look at you like you are your circumstances, but I think that he is very aware of your situation right now, and I think he wants to like take the right action steps towards you as to make sure that he's doing things the right way. And I feel like he wants to kind of make some kind of offering. I have the Ace of Pentacles, so it makes me feel like he's like, I understand that you have been in a very fragile place. Hey, I Rise, thank you for your donation. I'll add you to the list in just a moment, okay? I feel like he's like, I know that you've been in a fragile place. I want to not do anything that could jeopardize you or harm you in any way. I think he feels like he wants to care for you. And I feel like he maybe wants to show you like that there is other options out there for you. And I feel like though that he's a little bit like wanting to make sure that you're cared for. It's kind of reminding me of like you're the patient and he's the nurse and he wants to like nurse you back to health. I know it's like a weird way to word it, but I feel like he's trying to handle you with kit gloves. Like he's trying to make sure that anything that he does only makes your life better, and he doesn't want to like leave a stain or make things worse or make things harder for you. So I think that he's in this place where he'll allow for you to set the pace, but he'll take the lead, if that makes sense. He said he admitted everything to you. You told him everything. We have a history in the past. We had to look away from each other. Do you feel like you guys are back in a place now where you can maybe revisit this? Because I have the 10 of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles for thoughts and feelings, and I think he's looking at you as a romantic interest, and that he feels like maybe you guys are on the same page now, because the 6 of Pentacles is like equal, like mutual reciprocation or something like that, or equal effort, equal give and take. Okay, so you are coming through as like the 4 of Swords for him, and that's what I was talking about, is that he knows that you're in a emotionally more fragile place. The 4 of Swords is like trying to nurse yourself back to health. You're kind of maybe a little protective of your heart at this time. So I think he is witnessing that, but maybe he's hoping that if he can stay in connection with you, then maybe this can develop into something more. Because I think his intentions are to make you feel supported. However that shows up in your life and however you'll allow him, he wants to make you feel supported and celebrated and important. 6 of Wands. The only challenges you have are the challenges you have. I don't think that there's any extra blocks in your way. There's no influences coming in to ruin or jeopardize this relationship that you guys are revisiting. 7 of Wands just kind of talks about rising above it, rising above the challenge. So really, it's just a matter of, can you guys take the circumstances that you're in now and make something good from it? Like, you're given lemons. Can you guys make lemonade kind of vibes? I think right now the overall energy is like, let's just be friends. Let's be companions. But obviously you guys know there's something else underneath it all. Like, it's not just friends. It's not platonic. There's something more there. But I think you guys just have to keep it at the pace that it is now, because the 3 of Pentacles is like, let's just kind of see where this goes and just kind of be companions to one another. Let's be friends and let's support each other, and we'll see where it takes us, I guess. But I think he wants to show you that things can be different. We have the Judgment card. So this talks about, I forgot to talk about this. This came out in the beginning. This talks about clearing the air. So maybe him providing clarity to you that you've been wanting or needing to hear from him, and vice versa. Judgment talks about forgiveness, like acknowledging how things worked out in the past, but how can you change them into something better now? If anyone needed to apologize or ask for forgiveness, this is there. It's the energy of healing. It's the energy of making the right decision. And overall, just like trying to move on from the past, like understanding that there's baggage, but leaving the baggage at the door and walking away and trying to start something new and fresh somewhere else. So that is what I have, Terry. If I answered your questions in full, that's great. But if you want to add on, just let me know before I move on to the next person. I think you pretty much cleared the air. Thank you. You're welcome, Terry. Happy to hear it. All right, next up we have Pisces. Pisces, if you can drop your question for me, that would be great. I've been very vocal at work and shedding light on things we need to grow. I don't think one of my bosses likes me or my ideas. Wondering Wanda's thoughts about me. Okay. Pisces, what's your rising sign by chance? Oh, that's okay. I was just wondering if you were an Aries rising, because that's a struggle that I have personally in my life. Is with an Aries rising, I feel like I have ideas and they're good, and people don't want to hear them unless they are asking me for it. So, I notice too, like when I'm looking up and I come across like Aries rising posts and things, there's people in the comments that are always like, I feel like I'm just supposed to be my own boss. I feel like I'm just supposed to work for myself. I feel like other people have felt like they're threatened by me, even though I know that I have really good ideas. It's like no one wants to hear it. Aries risings a lot of times can come across where other people think that if they let them shine, if they let an Aries shine, then they're going to come for their job. They feel very threatened in the workforce. And it's like they don't, it's like with Aries, it's like you will always find people in your way trying to stop you from promoting or moving up. Yeah, so if you are an Aries, that could actually be part of the issue, is that I find that Aries risings threaten people who are in power. They really, really do. You just their mere presence. They don't even have to speak a word. Just your presence is irritating to people who are worried that you might take their jobs. They worry that their job is at risk. So when you come with bright, grand, beautiful ideas, okay, but no one wants to hear it, it could possibly be because of your rising sign. It's the energy that you give off. And it's not about ego. It's not about conceitedness, because that's the thing. You don't want their job. So it's not even about that. It's just that these people they feel threatened. And I felt challenged in every single place that I worked. It's like unless someone wanted me to be a manager, I had no value. I was naturally a perfectionist, but also like I got leadership, like I got lead positions, supervisor positions, management positions very, very quickly. And I think that scares people. And if I didn't get to a management position very quickly, it was because there were other people in my way that were worried that I would come for their job, even though that's not what I wanted. So if you can ever figure out what your rising sign is, it might help, especially if you're in Aries rising, that this might really, really resonate for you. It's really easy to navigate as well. What is it? The different human designs are also important. I am a projector, and I'm able to like see things from all angles and understand solutions very quickly for people. And that's why I'm glad I found my niche here in tarot, because I feel like people are coming to me and they're saying, "Hey, I have this issue. Can you help me?" And that's my invitation to say, yes, absolutely. Let me see what I can do for you. Because people who are generators and people who are manifestors, they want to hear from those people more than they want to hear from a projector. And as a projector, I feel like very unvaluable if I'm offering information and I know that it's valuable information, but no one is in the position or readiness or have the capacity to hear what I have to say, then it feels very frustrating for me. So I have to wait for that invitation. So I think Pisces, just getting to know like your human design, getting to know your at least your big three, I would say, in your astrological natal chart, I think that would be really enlightening for you. Yeah, definitely. So let's pull some cards here. All right, so Wanda feels like you. Yep, definitely. Chariot. So the chariot is literally someone who's holding the reins. Okay. So they're holding the reins and they're trying to steer the ship. She feels like you jump in way too quickly, way too impulsively. You come in strong, you come in fast, Knight of Swords, okay? So you're in a hurry to get your ideas out there and your ideas known. I think it's, yes, you're passionate. I think it's the delivery that is bothering her, because it's making her feel like you just kind of want to take over. And I don't think that's what you want. I have the Four of Wands, so I'm like, I think you want to create the right foundations. I think you have really good ideas to share and it gets you excited, but I think it's not translating as excitement. It's translating as, I have the right idea. You guys need to listen to me. And I can totally relate to that 100%. I think that it would behoove you to maybe tell them that you have some ideas and to just call on you when they're ready to hear them and wait for that invitation. You could also like have someone else present your ideas so that it's not coming directly from you, but they know that it's you and these are your ideas and you're getting the credit, but have someone else present them, because then they're not distracted by your delivery or your passion or whatever, and it feels less threatening as well. So maybe talking to someone one-on-one and having someone else give you the credit, but maybe presenting it for you and then just asking you if you have any additional comments or questions. I think it's like sometimes in the workplace it's hard for us because we know that we're supposed to be in a different position, but we're not. And we have so many great ideas, but that's not our job. So if there's a way for you to kind of do this more like tempered down, I don't know like how else to say this, like just dilute it a little bit, that might come across a little bit better. You think she doesn't like you to come directly to her, she wants you to go through the lead. Okay, yeah, so like take the proper protocol, go through the lead, and then let that be presented from from the lead, as in, you're a part of her team. Then she can present that to Wanda. I think it's not that your ideas aren't valuable, because they are. It's the approach, I would say. And that's kind of how she's thinking about you. She's kind of thinking like, and it shouldn't be like this, honestly, Pisces. Like, in my opinion, I think that everybody has value. And I think just because you're in a higher up position doesn't mean that you should have to go through the proper channels. If you've got a good idea, you've got a good idea. But I think that other people's egos are too fragile and they just can't handle it. And they want it to be done a certain way. So I really like collaborative places of employment, places that are run by like millennials or younger. They're very much more open to hearing ideas from other people. They don't care too much about the hierarchy and like who's in charge and are you stepping on toes or crossing boundaries. It's like, maybe, eventually you could consider working somewhere else or something like that. It's like you want to show your stuff and you want to show that you have something to contribute to the company. But sometimes people can take it wrong because, again, they're feeling threatened. So yeah, Pisces, that's just kind of her perspective, is that she's just like, well, now Pisces is trying to like run the ship. Pisces has good ideas, but the right time, the right place. Let's do this the right way. Let's go through the proper channels. So yeah, that's what I've got from her perspective. It doesn't mean that she doesn't think you have good ideas, because I have the Four of Wands here, and I have the World, and I have the Page of Cups, and it's like you do bring something to the table. So she does find value in your ideas. I don't know if that like pleases you or not to hear that, but she does find value in them. I think it's more just the delivery, really. Yeah, that's what I would say. Does that resonate for you at all? I hope so. Let me know if you have any other questions and you want to add on, and if not, I'll move on to the next. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad. And know that I say this with care too, because I feel like I'm just like you in this situation, i.e., that's why I work for myself. I don't want to be on anyone's time. I don't want to be on anyone's dime. I don't want to be on anyone's schedule. I work better when I have a sense of freedom. I need to create more passive income for myself. I was too much of a perfectionist when I was younger. I did everything everyone expected of me. I worked really hard. I was going to cosmetology school full time and working one or two other jobs at the same time. And I hit a point at like 30, I don't know, 31, 32 a couple years ago. And I'm just like, this just isn't for me anymore. I've done way too many different things. It does resonate. Good. Okay. Sure. We'll do one more question for you. But yeah, I can totally relate, because I just felt like I just could never really find my place. I felt like people were always trying to stunt me or stop me from promoting higher. I constantly had people in my way that were trying to make sure that I knew that they were the ones in charge. And I just butt heads with them. People were like, she's an amazing employee. She has an incredible work ethic. They loved me so much. They wanted to create positions for me to be a trainer because they saw my value, but they only wanted me to be their workhorse. They didn't want to give me the compensation for my efforts. They didn't want to give me the titles for my efforts. They wanted to keep me in a box, but they didn't want to lose me because they knew that I did a good job at what I did. And so I constantly was finding people that were in competition with me, trying to get ahead of me, trying to make sure that I knew that I wasn't the one in charge. And I got to a point with my most recent job, and I was like, screw that. Like, I've been doing tarot readings online. I can make this a business. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And it's been incredible. And it's just the path that I was supposed to take, I suppose. And who knows if I'm going to do this forever. But I get you, Pisces. I get you. All right, Pisces. So it looks like I got you a yes, no, no elaboration donation. Is that correct? I rise. I have your first question. You donated for a BOGO, right? Okay. Hi, Nicole. Hey, girl. So free readings are done for the night. But all you have to do is just be here whenever I go live, the first 15 minutes of the live stream, and I will do free yes, no readings at that time. So stay subscribed so that way you can talk in the chat as quickly as possible. Whether you're new or you've been here before, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm doing free questions, you can get a free question. And that's typically within the first 15 minutes of every live stream that I go live. So as soon as you see that notification, Nicole, join in because the timer gets started as soon as I go live, okay? Got it, iRise. Yep, I got you for a BOGO. Just confirming. Okay. So we're doing a mini reading for you. You said okay. Rachel's another boss lover. She seems understanding my craziness. Wonder what's her thoughts. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, does she really? Let's see. All right. I don't know if you guys are, there's something to do with age here, like age gap or maybe closeness in age, but there's something here where it's like maybe she feels like she's more on your wavelength and she wants to care for you like you are her own. The Six of Cups is like feeling like we feel connected to someone as if we've known them for a very long time. And so this doesn't necessarily mean literally like she's known you for your whole life or something, but it feels like, you know, the connection that you guys have, she feels like she kind of wants to look out for you or protect you in some way. And the Six of Cups card that I have in front of me is basically like a guy and his pet. It's like the guy looks out for the dog, but the dog looks out for the guy, and it's kind of like this like mutual understanding and feeling of protectiveness over one another. And so I feel like there is this bond that she feels connected to you with. I think she's trying to like lead you in the right way, in the right direction, and look out for you as best as she can. She does feel like you're restricted in some ways. She does feel like there's certain things that maybe she wonders if she should say to you or not. I think she tries to give you different perspectives. I think more than anything, she wants you to feel valued, and she wants you to feel valued. She wants you to feel understood, but that's because she gets you a lot more than maybe other people, or she feels like she does. Um, and she sees your potential, and I really think that she has your best interest. She is trying to help you to see certain things. So it's like she does worry sometimes about if she says something to you, is it going to rub you the wrong way? Are you going to take it the wrong way? Because she tries to be as like diplomatic with it as she can, but she can sometimes see from a different perspective, like the things that you have that maybe would be better for you to do it a certain way. And she's trying to just kind of guide you, I suppose. She wants you to be your own person. She wants you to do your own thing, but at the same time, she does feel like maybe you're misunderstood, and she gets you and she understands where you're coming from. And so she doesn't want you to completely dim your light or stop being who you are. Maybe just be a little bit more constructive in the way that you do things. I have the 10 of Pentacles. It makes me feel like she wants you to be around for a long time. Like, I don't think she wants you to leave. I think she wants to see you be at this job, maybe not the specific position, maybe promoting, but eventually like just this being your career. I think she would like to see that. If there's opportunities for like promotion, advancement, and or retirement, depending on how long you stay there, that's what she would want for you. Because the 10 of Pentacles is like, I hope that she stays here for a long time. Like, I would like to be a part of a work relationship with her for a long time. I think that she feels you've got a lot to learn, but she sees your like enthusiasm and your passion for the job itself, and she feels like that's more of a win than anything else. She just is looking for trying to balance. I know that you said you feel like she's the peacemaker. I would agree. She would agree. Two of Pentacles kind of feels like mediation to me. It feels like trying to find the balance, trying to find a way to kind of be in between the two extremes and come to a place where everyone is being heard and everyone is being understood. And I just think she doesn't want you to feel discouraged. She doesn't want you to feel frustrated. And also, she doesn't want you to feel uninspired if your ideas aren't heard either. She wants you to feel like it's still important to have these ideas and remain inspired as well. So yeah, I feel like she's just trying to guide you, honestly. I feel like she's trying to, because like I will say, Pisces, she sees your flaws sometimes. Like, it's coming through where it's just like, oh no, like that's not good. I almost feel like she has like a different perspective of things, and she sees in certain ways where maybe you could do certain things that wouldn't necessarily be how she would do them, but she does try to give with a very like open hand and open heart, and try to guide you in a very like constructive, gentle way. Because at the end of the day, she sees that you're more of a value and contribution to your company than you are a detriment. So yeah, I feel like just generally overall, she has a very positive view of you. She thinks you have a lot to bring to the table. And as far as your relationship with one another, your working relationship, she would agree that she does feel like the mediator or the in-between person. But she's okay. She's okay in that position. It's sometimes she feels her hands are tied. Sometimes she agrees with you more than other people. Like, if you have an idea and it gets shut down, that might frustrate her at times because she feels like it's a great idea and she's frustrated that it's not being heard. But she does feel like her hands are tied a lot of the times. And that, this isn't just decisions that are based on what she thinks. It's like what other people decide to do. and therefore she can't always be taking up for you if it's shut down, because that's just, she can only do but so much. Do you get what I mean? Wow, good. Okay, I'm so glad. I'm glad it's making sense for you. Oh, yay. Okay, I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me really happy to know that I was able to provide some of that clarity. And I want to just be clear, Pisces, too. Wanda doesn't think like badly of you. Like, Wanda doesn't look at you and is just like stewing and pissed off about you, like all day long or anything. It's just sometimes she feels you can get ahead of yourself. And she's like I wouldn't say she's by the book, but maybe she's more by the book than Rachel is. And she likes things happening a certain way. She's more structured. So like no one has negative feelings towards you like directly. They're not like pissed at you or anything. It's just maybe she's more rigid and you're just a different type of person, and like maybe she just doesn't understand. She doesn't understand like your ways either. She's not a free spirit. She's not liberated. She's just more, structured. She is by the book. Okay. Glad to hear it. All right. So that's what I got for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining us. No. You're not embarrassing yourself. I think you're actually going to surprise them because moving forward, you have this information now and you're going to be able to conduct yourself differently. And I think that's going to make a huge impression on them because they're going to be like, wow, like this is different. And I think that's going to be more impressive than anything. So be passionate on your own. When you're thinking about the ideas, let that passion run through you, but just be very aware of your place in the position that you have at your job, and just kind of go through the proper channels to make sure that your ideas are heard, because your ideas are important and they need to be heard. We just need to make sure that they're being delivered in the right way. You know what I mean? Perfect. You're welcome, Pisces. Have a great night, girl. All right, we are working on I Rise for a BOGO tonight. I Rise, we're shuffling for you now. All right, can you tell me what the energy is behind me launching a business as a transformational astrologer? I love that. That's so cool. All right, let's see. All right, I Rise. This is one thing that I'm being shown. They want you to show up like you. Be authentic. If your delivery is being a gentle, loving delivery, then I think that's what it needs to be. If you're blunt and just straightforward, then that's what you need to be. If you're a hard ass and give tough love, that's what you need to be. No matter what, your delivery with this business needs to come across extremely authentic. They're talking about how you have a good idea that maybe not a lot of people have already thought about. You're approaching astrology in a different way. You're bringing a different, new, fresh aspect or a fresh take to it. And by being yourself, you are going to find people who want to be a part of that community. They're going to say, nobody's going to give me guidance like I rise, not in the way that I want to receive it. And what they're saying is the reason you need to show up as yourself and stay as unique and original as possible, because Seven of Swords is here, which talks about saturation. It talks about competition. It talks about other people wanting to be noticed, and you needing to find a way to stand out. So when we show up authentically, when we show up in that way, the energy reads authenticity, and people will start to follow you because they don't feel like you're trying to be something that you're not. And they feel like they're getting the real you, and that's going to be very important. Queen of Wands here, so being extremely inspired, having your own business. It feels like the Four of Wands saying that this is a good foundation that you're setting up. This is a good way to go. This might eventually be, if that's not your plan, this might eventually be like your main business. I think that they're also telling me that your business will evolve as well. It's going to go from whatever you started off to being something else, maybe like giving classes or some type of coaching or some type of I don't know, different type of courses potentially. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they're basically like, you need to be progressive. Like, don't just put yourself in a box either. Come with the unique idea. Get people interested in you because of that one thing. Once people are on the hook and they believe you and they can trust you and they know that you know your stuff, then you can start moving on to the other things, because people don't invest in the product, they invest in the person. I'll say that again. People don't invest in the product, they invest in the person. And so if they feel that they can trust you, they are 10 times more likely to go to you for all of their needs when it comes to your astrological business. So definitely midheaven and Aquarius. So you've got to be the trendsetter. You have to be the person that's leading, the person that's being progressive, that's thinking of new ways to capture the audience. That's basically your job. Your literal job is to question the norm, right? So it might even be beneficial for you to actually think of different types of astrology that isn't even really talked about either, or different ways of looking at astrology. So maybe finding a certain system that people don't really talk about very often and incorporating that into their, even I Rise, I think actually you might even create your own system at some point. Like, you might take astrology and create your own way of reading or your own way of doing astrology as well, and just creating your own system. So I feel like this is definitely the energy, that the direction that they want you to go in. You have the Emperor in reverse, and so this is kind of telling me this might not kick off immediately and be like this full-fledged CEO business, but the Emperor energy here does tell me that this could eventually lead to an abundance of wealth for you, depending on what you do with it, and not putting yourself in a box. So just because you start off with a certain type of business, you can add on different branches and different layers. So for example, for me, I'm a tarot reader, but because I'm into tarot and people know me as tarot, I'm looking into the Destiny Matrix to start doing Destiny Matrix readings. This is a numerological system that was created in 2006 based off of the major arcana of tarot. That's a natural, nice transition for me to go from reading the cards to actually reading someone's like essentially their natal chart, basically with numbers. It's not heard about. People don't really talk about it, but it's something that I'm doing and learning about and getting into. Another thing I can branch out to for passive income is creating tarot decks or creating oracle decks. I could even create courses on how I read tarot and things like that. So that's what I want you to keep in mind as far as like the astrological business, because I am an Aquarius North Node and you are an Aquarius midheaven. And that says that the way in which you shine, the way in which you show people who you truly are is by setting trends and not putting yourself in a box, not saying, oh, well, this is what I'm doing and this is all that I'm doing. So as your business evolves, allow for that inspiration to come through and evolve with it. You can still have your foundation of why you started this business, but maybe you can incorporate other things into it as well, and moving along with the times and adjusting, because people aren't going to do successfully if they are just sticking with the one thing that they know. That will eventually be outdated, and you're going to want to move along. So if you notice that more people are doing long form content on astrology on YouTube again, start doing that. If you like the short form content, you feel like that's getting more attention for you, then do that. If you feel like your courses are really taking off because of your marketing strategies, then do that. But it's definitely going to be trial and error. I just really feel like you've got something here. I really, really do. And I think just as long as you're showing up authentically and you're putting yourself out there in just the you form, no one else can do you like you. And as long as you're doing that and not trying to mimic or be someone else or like something else that you've seen, you will stand out. And that's the key. They're saying this is a very saturated industry, but everyone can make it. You just have to make it your own. You said, I definitely have been, because on mainstream it's definitely regurgitated information. Absolutely. And it's not in your style with an Aquarius midheaven to want to be like everyone else either. That's the other thing, is that you will rebel against that very, very quickly. So just make sure that you're showing up as yourself. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to start doing readings at some point. It's an easy system to understand, but it's a lot. It's a lot to learn. It's like even I feel more complicated than tarot is. Maybe not as complicated as astrology, but astrology for me is easier to understand. It's complex. There's a lot of layers to it and a lot of different ways to read a chart. But with astrology, it's like if you understand the planets and you understand the houses and you understand the zodiac signs and you understand the degrees and you understand how they all work and correlate into each other, then you pretty much have a basic understanding of astrology. The problem with the matrix is that it's numerology and it's the major arcana, and there's a million different ways and a million different number combinations to learn. And a lot of times you can read the numbers individually, but sometimes you read them as a group together, and then it creates a code, like a program, and then that's complicated because I don't know, it's a lot. It's a lot. They say that it's easier to understand than astrology is, but I would argue that if you don't understand tarot, you'll have a much harder time understanding the destiny matrix than astrology. So you kind of have to have the basic understanding of tarot, in my opinion, for the destiny matrix to be easy for you to grasp. You're very welcome. So I've got you down for a second question as well. So let me know what you would like to ask for your next question. That's right. Thank you so much. I have a Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, Mercury, and Aries. I have a Taurus Moon. Scorpio Moon. That means that you're able to get really, really deep into things, I feel. Like, you're able to process things deeply. You're able to keep things a secret. You're able to really deep dive into certain topics that interest you, especially emotionally. Mercury in Aries, very fiery. I have a Mercury in Taurus. I have a Moon in Taurus, and Mercury in Taurus. And my part of fortune is also in Taurus. And Aries rising for me. I want to dive beneath the surface. Yeah, that's literally what I was just saying. That's so funny. It's amazing how all these different paths are interconnected. Definitely. And as a spiritual person, it's really hard to pick one. Like, I went to this birthday/Valentine's event for my best friend, and one of the girls there, we were kind of just hitting it off and talking about ourselves and things. And, I'm telling her, I read tarot and I do this and that, whatever. And she's like, do you do palm reading? And I'm like, I've looked into it, but I was like, I don't specialize in it. It's hard because there's palm reading, there's face reading, there's like aura readings and getting like your aura energy done. It's astrocartography, astrology, tarot, oracle, pendulums, and runes, and reading bones, and reading tea leaves, and dowsing rods. I mean, the list goes on, and they're all different tools of divination. They're all different areas of interest for me. And now the Matrix Destiny. And I'm a Gemini stellium. I'm going to be interested in a vast array of topics, and I have to kind of basically put blinders on for myself, or I will deep dive into this and that and this and that. And I'm like a master, or not a master, I'm like a interest in everything and a master of none. And that's fine, but I really need to like learn how to just really get everything about one specific topic, just dive deep into that and like understand it. And then once I feel like I've mastered that, then move on to the next thing. I struggle with jumping around like way too much. All right, truth about Tyler. Well, thanks, Irise. You said you guessed so many paths. It was hard to choose one initially. It's difficult. Gemini rising, Venus and Gemini. I have Venus and Gemini too. We have a lot of like similar, not similar placements, like similar houses. Same for you. Yeah, it's difficult. I have a Gemini stellium, and I have a Capricorn stellium as well. And my main like challenge is just trying to focus like on one area and then like not worry about other things, because I feel like there's not enough time in the day. I want to learn about everything. I want all the knowledge. Like, the older I get, the more of a sponge I am, and I feel like I'm spreading myself really thin mentally, because I feel like I don't have enough time in my life to learn everything that I want to know. Truth about Tyler. You picked what you focus on the most, what you're most passionate about. It's hard with all that's happening in your 30s. Me too. And I'm 33, and it feels like all my life is so unstable regarding career. All doors are closing for me to create my own path. I agree, I rise. That actually happened to me around 32, 33 too. I lost my job. I was like, I guess I got to figure out something else to do. And luckily, this was already layered into my life. And I was like, why don't I just try to see what I can do with this? And, it's like serving. It's not consistent income. in terms, it's consistent money every week, but it's not consistent in terms of how much. And, that's been an adjustment for me because I was used to a steady paycheck. But I feel like you're smart and you're going about it really like with the right mindset and the right focus is to just get one thing that you're very passionate about and work on that. And you'll know, I rise, like as long as you have a general grasp of what it is you're doing, you're still going to be learning and evolving. I can't even begin to tell you all the people I've read for and all the things I've learned over time. I'm not the same reader as I was from day one. So, you're going to evolve and things are going to change. And for tarot, I can get into that real quick, but I was like a crazy empath. Like when I tell you empath, I'm talking like I wrote a blog back in like 2010 or 11. I really don't remember. Maybe 2012, something like that. But basically, like before empath even became a word, because I was like, what is going on with me? What is wrong with me? Why can't I function? Why can't I focus? And I learned the term empath. Okay. And that was whenever I would say to people, I'm like, yeah, I'm an empath. They're like, you mean you're empathetic? And I'm like, no, like an empath. And they're like, I don't know what that is. So when I tell you that I learned the word empath and I was saying that's what I was, this was literally nobody knew what I was talking about. Okay. Nobody had any idea. Then it became mainstream, like the word narcissist and gaslighting and things like that. But this is when I figured it out. Then fast forward a few years, it was really getting to me. I was like, becoming almost like agoraphobic. Like I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to be around people. I felt like the energies were just too much. My anxiety was all over the place. And I specifically remember like one situation when it was my niece's birthday party and we went to Chuck E. Cheese, and the amount of energy that was in that place was astronomical. And I was like, I literally told my husband, then boyfriend at the time, I was like, I need to go out to the car. I was like, I'm like gonna hyperventilate. I was like, this is just too overstimulating for me. And literally came home and had to like basically disconnect and just rest for like 4 days in a row before I could start to feel like myself again. And I was like, this is no way to live. This is like not good. I need to figure out a way to channel this empath way, this clairsentient way, this way that I can feed on people's emotions and energies and like feel them and channel it into something good. And then I kind of went down the rabbit hole and I was learning about Oracle and learning about spiritually related things. Then I got on the path of tarot and I was looking at pick a card readings, and I kind of just naturally started to like dive into how do I help people and maybe can take some of this energy away from myself and understand how to transmute it into something that is maybe better for me and also simultaneously helps others at the same time. And then that's when I started learning about tarot, and I actually got Oracle for the first time, learned on that. And then, being raised in a Catholic religion, which it wasn't all my life, but you learn young, you stay away from this kind of stuff. And so I've always had this like mindset of tarot's bad, tarot's negative, tarot's dark, I should stay away from it. And then I realized it's really just a tool to help yourself. And it doesn't have to be bad. It can be good. And I can still believe in God and do this at the same time. And it's more about spirituality and the reward of feeling like I'm contributing to people's lives in such a positive way, and that the focus isn't on me and it's on other people. That has really helped. And it's helped me learn about myself too. It's helped me learn like how to trust my intuition more. I remember when I was first doing tarot, if ever I had a question or I wanted to know something, or should I do this, should I do that, I was always leaning on my tarot cards. And I can honestly say that I haven't done a reading for myself in probably 3 or 4 years. Because if I have to ask myself something, what should I do? Should I do this or should I not? I have this very, very strong internal compass now with spirit, that I understand what's for me and what's not, and I don't necessarily have to lean on tarot really ever. And that's been probably the biggest blessing, is just understanding myself and my own intuition and what I need to do. And I don't know, it's amazing, and I just love it. And it's something that's basically created financial freedom for myself, and that's all she wrote, man. I love answering questions like that. Thank you for asking about me. I appreciate that. You said you love to learn. You're a student of life. You get bored so easily. Yes, I'm the same way. You and I are very similar in that way. But yeah, I love tarot. It's the foundation of who I am in my business. It's what everyone knows me for. But at the same time, sometimes I want to do something different, you know? Sometimes I want to help people in other ways, and it you know, you do kind of put yourself in a box when you do one thing. Like if you do astrology, that's all people want to hear from you about. If you do tarot, it's all people want to hear from you about. And I was hoping that maybe the Destiny Matrix could be that bridge where I could say, hey, it is tarot. It's just a matrix. It's a grid or a graphic or geometrical shape similar to astrology that helps us better understand who we are and how we need to function in the world, and in hopes that maybe that would help get people out of the box. Because I have people who are like, yeah, I want to get an astrology reading from you, I want to get astrocartography reading from you. And I think that once you get those kinds of readings from me, or like an aura reading, you'll understand that I'm multifaceted and I can do much more than just tarot. I think people are just scared of branching out. They're scared of like, okay, well, all I've known you as is to do tarot and nothing else. So I don't really know like if I want you to do anything else for me. So that's what I mean, I rise, is just don't put yourself in a box. Learn from me that you don't want to do that to yourself. I said, oh, that's such a beautiful journey and mission to focus on helping others. It's amazing duality of helping others and also helping yourself. It is. I love that. I love that you said that, because it's so true. That's true. That's a great add-on and segue. Yes, the Gemini energy is like, don't put me in a box. I know. That's how I feel. And I really feel like I've mastered tarot. So like I'm itching to go outside of myself and learn something else. All right, so when it comes to Tyler, we have the Eight of Cups and we have the Nine of Swords. We also have the Four of Wands and the Lovers. And then I pulled out the Six of Wands and it went with the Lovers. So I feel like you and Tyler have a very strong connection. One that maybe he thought would eventually lead to something more. And I think that there still is a pull towards you. Did you walk away from him? I have the Eight of Cups here. So it's like this fear of missing out on your life, or you turning your back on or abandoning him. So I'm like, did you actually do that, or what's going on here? You know, the Four of Wands and the Lovers indicates, oh, you did. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a power move. Okay, so yes. So the reason I'm saying that is because the Eight of Cups is here, and it's literally like, imagine standing behind someone and their back is turned away from you and they're just walking in a completely different direction. And that's what this picture is showing, is that he's standing there watching you walk away. And I think that this is really, really getting to him. I have the Nine of Swords. And so this is like distress. This is anxiety. This is great fear, great sadness, feeling loss. Like he's definitely going through it. And the thing about the Nine of Swords is that, you know, this can make you lose sleep at night. This could eventually affect your health. And the Nine of Swords, a lot of times, is like it's affecting us because we're not confronting things. We're just like allowing the worry to overconsume us, and we're not actually like doing anything about it. And we're not allowing ourselves to get to the root of the issue. We're not actually like treating the problem. We're just allowing for these things to make us feel this way. And I think that he really thought that you were the person that he was going to be with. Like, he thought, she'll never leave. You know, we're meant to be together. We'll be together. Maybe he thought you'd get married one day. You said he's the father of your youngest daughter and your unborn. Oh my goodness. You keep dreaming about him, though. He's a player energy, Gemini, sun, and moon. You believe you were a third party to another connection. You know, I've heard a lot of really bad things about Gemini men. I've heard really not good things. My very first relationship that I had was a Gemini sun, like me. We got on really well. I don't know if that plays into it at all because I was a Gemini. Maybe it was easier for us to be on the same wavelength. I've never had a problem with Gemini men, but I understand because I've seen Gemini men in action and I've seen them on TV and I understand it. But you know, they've got the duality side, and like, he didn't never cheat on me, but he also did some sketchy things behind my back that at the time I did not approve of. So I could understand how like a Gemini can have like Gemini men can have sneaky energy and just kind of do some shady shit. Like, I do get that. This person was like, thought that I was hung the moon. So, you know, I had a different experience. Like, this person never would have cheated on me, but they did hide other things from me that I didn't like very much. So I get that. I feel like for you, or for him, for you, I feel like he felt a very deep, deep connection to you. And I think that the reason you're having these dreams is because he is having that insomnia. He is struggling to get you off his mind. The Nine of Swords is, as I said, the insomnia feeling. It's like where all you can think about, all you can eat, sleep, and breathe, I rise, is what Tyler is doing. He proposed, but then found out all about these other girls. Gemini horror stories. Oh no. You're attracted to the energy, but sometimes they're here and there and everywhere. I'm like, who are you today? Which one? Yeah, I get that. Never really knowing what to expect is hard. And of course, we have the Lovers here, which is literally Gemini energy. So I feel for you with him. I really do. It's not a good settled feeling. I feel like with Gemini men, they a lot of times don't really know what they want. They can be a little flighty. They can be a little flaky. And even if they're a stand-up person, and even if they're, you know, being faithful to you, they have other vices. They probably have addictions, or they don't have ambition, and they're not really stepping up the way that you need them to in the relationship. You know, they could be doing sketchy things on the side, maybe even illegal things that they shouldn't be doing. So it's like, it is hard. It is hard to establish yourself with a Gemini man. I totally get that. Yes, and having that as a sun and moon sign is crazy. Yeah, I know. I get it. I mean, I will say he looks at you as his wife. I mean, he looks at you as the woman for him. And I think him proposing, it was really from his heart. It really was what he wanted to do. And I think that he still hopes, even now, that you guys have the ability or opportunity to take the next step in the relationship. I think he feels bound with you by love, by blood. And I think that he feels that whatever you guys have is extremely powerful. You know, he has his own vices, and that's not being faithful to you. And that's something that you can't trust. Obviously, And even if whatever I say is not going to change your mind, but I do think that he really has strong feelings for you. And I think that if he thinks of like the main girl in his life, as in like, that's my wife, that's my girl, like that's my person, that's my partner, you are the person that he thinks of if he hears those things or if he says those things. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like what you need from him is just to mature. I think you need him to just grow up. I think you need him to just get his life together, you know? And I think that's the main issue. Is it's like you guys have so much of a history, it can be kind of hard. He said, yeah, that's what happens and loves all the attention with Mars and Leo. Oh no. He kept saying that it was just hard for me to get over the past. Once betrayed, I became a villain myself. My shadow started to appear and I became a mirror. Ooh. I know that was wrong, but I was like, let me show you how some of this feels. I mean, that makes sense, Irise, honestly. Like, it might have been a little bit of everything. It might have been a little bit of vindication. It might have been a little revenge and a little protection of yourself at the same time. But I think that some relationships, you know, they say you're meant for, what do they say? A reason, a season, and a lifetime or something like that. Maybe this person is just in your life for a season. Or maybe the reason is to provide you with your children. So, you know, I think sometimes we linger a little bit too long in relationships because we feel like that's the only option, or we feel like there's just too strong of a bond that we couldn't ever possibly find it somewhere else. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. I'm a walking example. I remember being so sure, so certain about someone who was never even half as certain about me as I was about them. And being in a different relationship now, being in a marriage, being with my husband for now almost 10 years, and thinking about how amazing my life is and how much we love each other and how incredible it is that he accepts me in every single way. And I don't have to really ask him for a thing. Like, he's just a grown up, like, he's just a man. I realize how much time I wasted on things that just weren't. And, you know, everyone's on their own journey. And I'm sure it could be hard for you because you share a child with this person that, you know, you're always going to be connected to them no matter what. And how do you get that person out of your system when you always know that you're connected in this way? That's tough. But I think sometimes we can also take the perspective of that the connection served its purpose. And that purpose was to give you your child. And it doesn't mean that you have to go back to this person either. You can, but it doesn't mean that, you know? Like, what if your purpose in life has to do with your child and not him, but he was the only way to bring this exact child into the world for you? That was his purpose in your life. You don't have to stay connected with them romantically necessarily if you don't want to. Yeah, definitely. Add on to the reading. We can look into the third party for you. Sure, that sounds good. Yeah. You really wanted your family to work. Yeah. Oh, you're so blessed. That's so beautiful. I wonder how you and your husband connect astrologically. I don't know because, well, I have done a compatibility chart, but it's been a long time. So I'm a gem stellium. He's a Leo stellium. We don't know his exact time of birth. So that's where things get a little bit complicated. And that's why I've looked at his chart, but I've never like fully taken stock of his chart 100% because we don't know exactly the order of his houses. But we think that he might be a Taurus rising, and I'm an Aries, so he's like one house shifted over from me. According to the time we think for him, he has a lot of trines, grand trines, in his chart. Maybe like 1 or 2. I'm all over the place, just like my DNA. I'm from everywhere. But we get on really, really well. We really do. Like, we're just so cohesive. I mean, I've never had such an easy relationship with anyone before in my life. It was just so funny because, you know, we're getting married and everyone's like, oh, marriage is so hard. Like, you guys really just have to work through it. And we're like, now a year and a half into being married, and we're like, what do they mean by it being hard? Not only that, but we got engaged at 7 years together. We got married at 8 years together. And now it's been another year and a half on top of that. And we're just like, I don't know. And we're like, it's not hard. Marriage literally is like the easiest, funnest thing ever. It's like a sleepover every single night. Like, you always feel supported. You always have your person. You always know that you got someone at the end of the day. Like, the scariest part about being in a relationship like this is like, you want to make it last as long as possible. You don't want anything to happen to that person. So yeah, that's like the scariest part, honestly. But I think maybe kids could complicate it. We're talking about having children soon, hopefully. And I think that's really like the only thing I can think of that might put a little bit of a rockiness in the connection. But him and I have such a stable foundation. We've been together for so long, just him and me. And I feel like if we need to reset or we need to take a minute for just us, well, we should know how to do that. I'm not going to be too confident to assume that we wouldn't know how to, like, I don't want to say, oh, it'll never happen to us. I'm not going to say that. But I am going to say that I feel like we've set the proper foundation and have the right tools to understand. And we've had a lot of conversations before having a baby about what we want our life to look like, what we don't. What happens if we get too tired or too stressed out? How do we connect again? Lots of conversations. How do we want to parent? What do we want that future to look like as parents? Like, we just talk about it all. And I think that, you know, that's really important. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I got your donation. All right, I'm going to have to close the list after culture. You said you created stability together, especially after 10 years. Yeah, we definitely have. I love that you manifested someone like that in your life long term. Thank you, Irise. I want the same for you. It's like everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves to have that person in their life that is like their best friend. It's peaceful. It's peaceful. Like, you trust each other. You know, you're not ever worried about anything. Like, you know, really, like, the only scary part, I'm serious, the only scary part is like losing that person. And honestly, that's that's scary. That's really, really terrifying. But at the same time, to live in peace every single day, to know like you hardly ever fight with your person. Like, I mean, I can count on less than one hand in the last year that we've had an argument, maybe even less than that, like maybe one fight in the whole year. Like, and even then it was just more like frustration or irritation. But like, we do not argue ever. It's laughing 24/7, cracking jokes, inside jokes, like, and that's what I want for other people, because this has not always been this easy for me. If you knew me before the last 10 years, even in the beginning of our relationship, you would know that it's not always been easy, but we got us to a point where we have a mutual understanding of one another, and it's smooth sailing after all of that. And that's why I do tarot, especially love relationships, because I want people to know that, you know, the first relationship you ever get into is not going to be like everything and you're forever all of the time. You're going to grow, you're going to evolve, you're going to change. You need to know that there is malleability in your relationship for you to be able to do those things, or you're not going to last. I want to help people understand that you don't want to waste time on things that feel too hard. You don't want to force things. You don't want to feel like it's pulling teeth, because when the right person comes along, it's easy as hell. It's so easy. If you have interest in that person has interest in you, it's so easy. And so, like, don't waste your time on things that don't need to be wasted on. If you feel in your gut, like your intuition, that this person and you are supposed to be together, then trust that that's what's going to happen. Don't put yourself out there at risk. If it's meant to be, it's not going to pass you by. And if it's fear that's keeping you holding on to that person, then that's where you need to grow, and you do need to walk away, and you do need to find something new. So I just hope nothing else to just like inspire people about where I've come from and everything that I've endured and all of the trauma that I've experienced in my life, from sexual abuse to emotional abuse to, I mean, just the trauma that I have experienced, but I can't even begin to tell you. And all of the relationships that I've been in, they've been their own lessons. And it's like, to get to a point finally where I'm at peace is just like incredible, but I didn't always get here. So I want people to be inspired by my story, you know, and just know that like you can have it too. It's not just for one person or two people or a handful of people in this world. All right, you said the girl is Jasmine. Hold on, let me save this comment real quick. The girl's Jasmine. She's a Capricorn sun. They've known each other from high school. She's one of the many, but one of the most prominent energies. Okay. That's how it should be. I have a story. Times from this experience, I always say my life could be a reality show. You should make it a reality show or movie. Why the hell not? Make it into a book. Yeah, exactly. The difference between authenticity and games. 100%. Your Chiron South Node in Mars is in Cancer. My Chiron is in Cancer. My Chiron is in Cancer in the 5th house. Or I'm sorry, the 4th house. What am I talking about? Wait. Yeah. I was getting myself all confused. So with the Cancer South Node, you really need to learn how to kind of put yourself first, right? Because isn't the South Node of Cancer the North Node of Aries? So you got to like be able to find a way to not always have to serve other people, not always put other people first, but put yourself first and say, hey, I've got skin in the game. Like, this is what I need to be doing. Your greatest trauma is your family. Yeah. It's amazing how you've overcame so much. You're so inspiring. I Rise, you're gonna make me cry. Appreciate your transparency and sharing your story. Yeah, of course. It's so beautiful how you've healed so much of your trauma. I have. It's been hard. It's been really hard, but I learn from you guys too. Like a lot of times you'll ask me a question and then I realize like as I'm invoking this wisdom from spirit, I'm also like, wait, spirit, that was a message for me too. Like I could hear it sometimes. Like there was a message tonight I did earlier that I was like, no, I need to hear this as well. And so it's like I learned from you guys too as well. I'm always putting others before me, like the sacrificial lamb. My family thinks I'm supposed to be in the cross like Jesus. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. You need to be putting yourself first. Aries is like numero uno. It's, well, you know astrology really well. So I don't even have to tell you. All right. Tell me about this third party, please, Spirit. Culture, if you're in here, will you drop your question in the chat for me, please? I don't know if they're communicating as much these days. If you're not sure, I don't think they're communicating. If you know if they're communicating, I don't think it's as much. I have the Hermit and the Seven of Swords, so that's kind of like keeping things to yourself, maybe keeping your energy to yourself. Four of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, very independent energy. Everything's kind of making me feel as though they may be thinking about each other, like, I don't know. I feel like low-key they are thinking about each other, but I don't know like how involved or how engaged they are with one another, if that makes sense. The Hermit's very isolated. The Nine of Pentacles is very independent. The Four of Pentacles is very reserved. When you think of isolation, independent, and reserved, you think very much keeping to yourself. Okay, so that's what I think is going on with them. I don't think the engagement between the two of them is in like the conversation and the seeing each other or whatever. I think that's very minimal, if not minimal, then not at all. I feel also too, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is kind of like feeling locked out, feeling left out, feeling outside in the cold, and it's clarified by the Three of Cups. So he's, I think, feeling a little bit of his actions as well from this third party experience that he's putting himself through and the decisions that he's making. So the last conversation, she was upset when he wasn't answering the phone. You made him call her back to prove the point that he was playing the fence and she didn't know the truth. Oh, got you. Yeah, I think that he's suffering from the consequences of his actions with the third party situations. Because again, the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Cups are here. So this is basically him saying, I feel like I've messed up. I thought I had everything and now I have nothing at all. So I feel like for him, he may not be communicating with you as much or as at all. And I think the same is going on for her. And I think that he's kind of licking his wounds a little bit because he's realizing that now he's got nothing because of what he did. When he picked up the phone, he was like, I'm with my kids, and I was right beside him. So she was like, I'm done. Oh, got you. Yeah, so I really don't think they're communicating, I Rise. I mean, like I said, low-key, they're probably thinking about each other. But there's too much sneaky, secretive energy that's happening between them. And we have the Knight of Swords, so it's like her making a break for it. Like, she's running away, essentially. There is a lot of unresolved stuff between them, so that could potentially be the bridge that brings them back together at some point, is to try to like clear the air and try to like, I don't know, find closure with one another. That could be something that brings them back into communication. However, I think that the separation is going to happen for a while. I really do. I think that I think she's protecting herself. I think she's saying, you made your bed. And I think that there's a lot of trust that has been lost in this connection with her. Oh, damn. That's after he proposed? That is shady. Well, now it seems like you both are done. And now he's left with nothing. It reminds me of that New Girl scene. I don't know if you ever watched the show New Girl, but Nick and Schmidt were talking because Schmidt couldn't make a decision between two girls. And Nick was like, you can't have two wives. You think you can have all the wives in the world? You can only have one wife. And that happened to Schmidt. Basically, like, he led them both on, made them think that he was only involved with them, and because he was confused because he had love for them both, and then he ended up with nothing. They were like, well, fuck this, we'll make the decision for you, like, goodbye. And so I feel like, you know, that's kind of the same situation. You know, he's like, I feel like Nick is like, you can only have one wife. You think you can have multiple wives? You can only have one. And that's like the reference that it's reminding me of. But I mean, it's true. Like, I think that he maybe loves you more. I really do, because you got the Lovers and the Four of Wands, and obviously you share a child. But with him, I mean, her, I'm not getting those kinds of cards. So I think that maybe he has love for her, but I don't think he is in love with her. Let's put it that way. And yes, I think there's a difference. Yeah, he ran with your phone and locked the door to delete your receipts in your phone. You beat down the door with a chair. It was so crazy. Oh my gosh. That's literally insane. Women know, though. Here's the thing. This is what I will say. And I know that you said it was your phone. But women know, like, if women are going through a phone, it's because they know something is up. Women are not just going to go through your phone because they don't trust you. They're not going to go through your phone just to, like, invade your space at all. They are going, let me just put it this way. I don't go through people's phones, but the few times that I have, I felt intuitively I needed to, and I did, and I found stuff, and I knew it was for a reason. I don't make a habit of just going through people's phones, but if you make me feel like I can't trust a situation, then I will be. That will be happening. And like I said, don't have to do that. You know, now that I'm married, don't have to do that. And it's the best feeling in the world. But let me tell you, if I didn't go through the phones, that when I did, I would have been in relationships a lot longer than I should have been. And I feel like that was my gut telling me that there's something going on here. I was getting dreams. I was getting feelings. I was getting this constant, like, need to say, what is happening here? Let me figure it out. And then that's how you find all the information. It's like you feel it in your soul. And it's like not a feeling that will go away either. It's like you can ignore it, but then it keeps creeping back over and over and over again. And finally you're like, never mind, fuck it. I'm just going to see. And every single time there was something suspicious going on. And it really just validated me because, well, let's just put it this way. If I ever went through a phone and didn't find something, I can't tell you about that experience. Every time I went through a phone, I found something. And I never went through a phone and didn't find something because I don't go through phones. I only did it because I had this feeling that I needed to, and I found the information I needed. And I'm glad that I did because I wouldn't have been in that relationship any longer than I needed to. And it's not anyone's fault to go through someone's phone. because it's not an invasion of privacy, in my personal opinion. It's protecting yourself. And if you're doing something wrong and I go through your phone, I'm not at fault, you are. And if I go through your phone and you're doing something wrong and I find out, that's just protecting me, because then I can just leave the connection and I don't have to stick around anymore. So if anything, it's just information. And let me tell you, I have my husband's password. He has mine. We're never going through each other's phones ever. But the option is there. He has my thumbprint on my phone. My thumbprint on my his thumbprint on my iPad. Like, we're very transparent with each other. So whenever someone is making you feel like it's a invasion of privacy, then you know that something is up, because a person who's not hiding anything wouldn't give a shit about it. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, I rise. So I don't really think that they're talking, to be honest. I think she's lost a lot of trust in him, and she's trying to kind of keep herself at a distance. I can't believe you had to change the whole door. Several women. Girls at work, girls online, girls from the past. Oh my God, I rise. I mean, stay away from this dude, please. I know, like, for the sake of your family, you'd want to stay together, but please, dear God, don't do that. Because here's the thing, I rise, that even if someone changes and they say, oh, I was a cheater in the past, but I don't cheat anymore, that may be true. If he gets into a relationship with someone new, if he really, really, really learns his lessons and says, I will never, ever, ever cheat again, okay, and he moves on to the next person, that may be true. This new person that he gets with will never have that problem. But if you get back together with him, you're saying to yourself that I deserve to be with someone who's done this to me before. That's what that says to him. And then what it says to him is, if I don't want to lose her, I'll never do it again. But maybe even if I do, she'll take me back. Because your energy signature and your connection is the energy of, I cheated, I could cheat on her again because she'll take me back again. Maybe a new person, he won't have that perspective, but with you, since you have history, that's what it's stating, unfortunately. Yes, dreams and all. In your dreams is always someone else. Then admitted that he talks to women for what he can get from them, and I was so disgusted by his mentality and lack of integrity. Oh my God. Wow. That's despicable behavior. Yeah, I rise. Damn. That's tough. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do, but if you want advice from someone who cares about your well-being, you gotta cut that off. Stay in contact, obviously, for your little one, but I don't know. Not for me. I know that there's way too many high value, quality men out there that will treat you as you deserve for you to settle for that again. I agree. Culture, I'm shuffling for you now, okay? Can't go back. Wasn't even myself in the end. I transformed to my dark side. I'm like, hell no. Yeah, because like if he's bringing out the worst in you too, that's also not good for you either. You overcome too much to be triggered back into a space like that. Yeah, agreed. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Have a good night. Made some mistakes at work, and I have a review coming up. Wonder what I need to know to create my best path forward. All right. So first thing I'm hearing is owning your mistakes culture. So when you have your review, obviously you don't want to bring things to their attention again. However, if it does get brought up, these mistakes that you're making or that you made, own up to it. Okay. You want to say, I'm human. This is what happened. This is the headspace I was in. This is why I think it happened. And the reason I'm giving reasons or an explanation or explaining my side of things is because I want to make sure I understand it so that it won't happen again. Okay. So holding yourself accountable, because the last thing that people want is for someone to deflect, someone to make excuses, someone to try to blame something else or another situation, because what they want to hear is, I'm doing my best to correct these mistakes. I don't want to make them again, and I'm going to try my best not for this to not ever happen again. And then I take responsibility for how it went down. I'm trying to understand how this happened so that I can avoid this in the future. Okay? When we hear from people them taking accountability, our shield, our defense immediately goes down. When we hear someone say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I take responsibility, we go from trying to defend ourselves and be in a place ready to fight to just putting our shield down and being like, okay, cool, like we're on the same page now, you get it. And I don't think that it's necessarily going to affect your review unless your mistakes are something that consistently happen over a long period of time. Recent mistakes, however, I don't think are going to affect things, especially if your quality of work and your performance is generally great. So I don't want you to stress it too much. But like I said, the one thing is they want you to learn from this, and they want to know that you do accept this responsibility. You are going to do your best to put this behind you. Okay. I think that they're going to say a couple of things. They're going to say, with all of that being said, this is the raise. I do think they're giving you a raise. I do think you're getting money. The reason I feel that way is because the Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles and Nine of Cups are here. So this indicates like more money and being happy with the outcome. Reviews are always nerve-wracking because you never know what they're going to say. You never know what they think about you. You never know like what's going to happen. But I feel like you are getting a raise. I don't feel, so if you're worried about like not getting more money, I think you will. I don't think owning up to it has ever been a problem with you, but you'll make sure you communicate that you're taking ownership. Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. I think that's a really great quality to have. And of course, I don't want to assume that you're not that type of person, but it's just the message that was coming through was just like taking accountability will really help you in this situation. And so knowing now that that's a really easy thing for you to do, that's even better. I feel like too is that whoever it is you're communicating with, if they haven't heard that directly from you yet, maybe you've said that to other people but haven't said it to them, that would also be a great opportunity to do that. Again, I don't necessarily want you to like bring your mistakes up during your review, but if they happen to be mentioned, then you can take it from there. But like I said, I don't think it's going to affect your raise. I think that you will get more money. I don't know. I'm getting something about a raise here. And usually, if I'm not mistaken, that happens around the time of review. I think that it's important as well that if there's any, without trying to displace blame onto something or someone else for your mistakes, I think that if you felt like there's something that could have prevented that mistake from being made that has to do with the company, then you probably should mention that as well. So for example, if you made a mistake because you didn't get enough training, then maybe don't blame the fact that you didn't get training, that you didn't ask for help or whatever. But I think maybe bringing up the fact that maybe next time more training would be beneficial for you, or maybe potentially for other people as well. So if there's something that the company could have done better to help you avoid this mistake, feel free and open to voice that concern when they're giving you the floor and they're saying like, is there anything you want to talk to us about? Are you having any issues? Blah, 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 blah. Because the Three of Pentacles is here. And so this talks about like collaboration. It talks about working together to come to a resolve and trying to work together to make sure that we're putting out better performance moving forward. But I really think you'll be able to put this behind you. We have the Ten of Swords, so it's like maybe it kind of sucks right now, but just know that it's temporary. This will all eventually blow over, is what it feels like to me. I think, and then, you mentioned that it's really easy for you to own up to things, so maybe it's really easy for you to like control your emotions as well. But I have a card here, King of Cups, and this person's almost like in a meditative state. Like they're so in control of their emotions, they're so in control of their reactions that they're just very like at peace. They're very zen, not stoic in the sense that they're hiding their emotions in defense of things and trying to come across like unemotional or inaccessible, but at peace, where you don't allow your emotions to control you. You control your emotions. So I think that just coming across in that way, just making sure that you breathe, that you are at peace walking into that meeting. Try to calm your nerves as much as possible. There's this expression that they have in Russia, I think it was, that I learned, where I don't know like the specific phrasing, but it essentially means sit before you go. Meaning, and it's something that it's a practice that I'm trying to implement in my life, where basically like we can have the habit of rush to go here, rush to go there, rush to go here. We're getting ready. Oh my God, we're late. We got to run out the door, grab the keys, let's go. And the expression in Russian is to, no matter if you're in a hurry, no matter where you're going, no matter how much time you have or don't have, once you're all dressed and ready to go, you sit down for a minute, even if it's for 5 seconds, and you just meditate for a second, and you go, and then you breathe, and then you get up and walk out the door. 5 seconds is not going to make you super late compared to what you already would have been. A 5-second, 10-second delay is not going to make a huge difference, but it might help you get in the right mindset before you leave your house, before you go have this review, before you go somewhere and do something. And I feel like that's what Spirit is trying to relate for me to tell you, is to just breathe, go into it. It's not going to be the end of the world. No matter what happens, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. You have a good path forward here. And this is eventually all going to blow over. It's like it sticks with us when we make mistakes. It'll probably stick with us for the rest of our life, but no one is going to be as hard on us as we are to ourselves. So give yourself a break. Just do your best, and that's really all you can do. You know what I mean? But I think like collaborating, working with them, being flexible, being accountable, being a very peaceful energy to be around. I think that's how you can approach this. You said, so funny. You heard someone mention that practice, and I've been thinking about it. Good advice. Are you serious? Wait. You have to tell me the story. Like, that's so crazy because I watched 90 Day Fiance and I just learned about this a couple of weeks ago. So crazy. I can't believe someone mentioned this as well. Wow, that's confirmation. That's so wild. That is so wild. Yeah, so it says the Russian phrase for sit before you go refers to a common Russian superstition where people should briefly sit down before leaving on a journey to ensure a safe trip. It's a way to pause and mentally prepare yourself for a journey, often with a moment of silence before heading out to your next adventure. It's rooted in beliefs about domestic spirits. Sitting down would trick them to think you weren't actually leaving. That's so funny. I love that. I really do. I think that's a great way to kind of center yourself. You're welcome, Culture. I hope that this helped you. You'll have to tell me about that raise you're getting when you come back. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.